Okay, so today we're going to be doing a 3-dimensional cube in colour. So before we get started, you need to make sure you've got the right equipment. So you've got a piece of A4 paper, a ruler, some coloured pencils, a sharpener and a rubber. You want to get your A4 paper and you want to make sure that you've got it landscape so it is longer than it is tall. And we're going to begin by drawing the cube. Everything that I'm going to do in this tutorial is going to be pressing slightly harder than I want you to press, just so that you can see it clearly in the video. So at all stages, I want you to press as lightly as you possibly can. Right, let's get started. So in the top right, we're going to do a cross, and we're going to label that VP, and that stands for vanishing point. That is the point in which all of our cube is going to run off and vanish to give it that 3-dimensional effect. Now we're going to draw a square. I'm going to start my cube roughly a ruler in, okay, and a ruler up. And I'm going to do it 6 centimetres. So again, press a lot lighter than I am. Then I'm going to do it 6 centimetres across. And that's going to be on every side because it's a square. So 6 by 6 by 6 by 6. Okay. So you will have something that looks like this. This is the stage where you need to look at the square and assess have you drawn it accurately. If you've got strange angles or your lines don't meet up, then just take your time and measure that again. If everything is okay with the square that you've done, we're going to line up to begin with this corner here, and we're going to use the ruler to go straight through that vanishing point cross and then over to the corner of the square. So take your time lining it up. Again, you're going to press a lot lighter than I am. I'm really pressing hard so that you can see, and go all the way up through the middle of that cross. We're going to do the same thing again from this corner. Take your time lining it up all the way through. And then from the bottom corner as well. So you will have the square that we originally drew and then 3 lines going up to this vanishing point. The next measurement that you need to do is you need to extend this bottom line. So line your ruler up, and then we're going to draw 4 more centimetres, and this is going to be the shadow. The shadow also needs to go towards the vanishing point, so line up that edge as well, like so. To now create the cube, we need to create the back side and shadow edge. And we need to make sure that they are parallel to the front of the square to make the cube look accurate. There's a little bit of an easy way to do this, so watch carefully. You're going to line up your ruler on the side, which we're going to go for first. So when we go for this top side, we need to create, and to make it parallel, I'm just going to move my ruler up. So do it again, move my ruler up, and I'm going to draw a line that goes across straight. Check, is that line parallel to this one? If it's on an angle like this or like this, it's not going to look realistic. Next one we're going to do is this side angle. So again, get your ruler, hold it straight, it needs to be nice and vertical. Slide across until you hit that line that you've just done, and draw a line down. And the last one, Let's just extend that slightly. And then the last one is going to be the shadow. So this one is again horizontal. We're going to move it up until it meets that point, and we're going to draw a line across. Double check everything is nice and accurate. If it is, then you can begin to add colour. Our light source is over here. So if you want to draw a sun or a light bulb and an arrow, just to show where the light source is coming from, and then we're ready to move on to colour. I'm going to use the tonal grid because I find that the easiest way to shade if you are using colour. And I'm going to have 0 as white, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to add yellow on 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then I'm going to add orange on 2, 3, 4. Only press nice and light. I'm going to add a tiny bit of red on 3, and I'm going to press harder with the red on 4. So that is my tonal range. I'm going to start off by doing yellow everywhere on the shadow and 2 sides. I'm going to get my ruler. I'm going to hold my ruler on the border, and I'm just going to do it as really light. I don't want to press hard, because if I press too hard, then I'm going to end up filling any of the holes where I want future colour to go. So a nice light layer on the paper so that there's a chance for all the colour to show through. Ruler there. This is just going to make it a lot easier for you to shade without going outside the lines. Should be holding at least halfway down your pencil, if not near the end, like I am. And then I'm going to do this side. Roll it on the back. I'm going to do this side. The reason why we have to layer all of the colours is so that you've got depth in the colour, and it will create more dimension. If you were to just go straight in with yellow, orange and red without layering, then you're not going to get the same effect. On this top of the cube, I'm going to start off with the yellow, and as I get towards the front, I'm going to fade it into nothing. So I'm going to fade it into white, because that's where the light source is hitting the cube. Then I'm going to move on to orange. Make sure your orange is nice and sharp. I'm going to start off on this side here. You're going to cover don't worry if you go slightly into this box. I'm going to cover with a very light layer of orange. Roll on the side. So we're going to add orange on all of those 3 sides. So don't worry too much if it goes into the other box. It just can't go outside the lines or on the top. Circular motions and a nice neat layer. Okay, then we're going to go to the front. Side. Actually go all the way across and do the shadow on this part as well. A nice light layer on everything. Make sure that the orange is an even layer, so we don't want it patchy. We don't want any scratchy marks. to be nice and even and neat and within the lines. If you have gone outside of any of the lines at this stage, then try and rub it out as you go. And keep it looking as neat as possible. Okay. So, we're going to now go back into this side. I'm going to do another layer of orange. I'm going to press a little bit harder. I want it to become a more vibrant orange. I'm going to do the same thing here. You won't need to use your ruler as much as you're going along because you will already have your border. And we're going to go slightly darker on this side at the bottom. And blend that up towards the top. For the minute, we've got yellow, we've got yellowy orange, orange, orange. Now we're going to get the red and we're going to draw a line. And we're going to start to bring the red into the shadow. Now we're going to fade it out. So you're getting red, which fades gradually into burnt orange, like that. Then we're going to get the red, we're going to hold it really low down, and we're going to add a very light layer over this side. Keep building that up. I'm going to go back over the red with the orange. So a nice even layer of orange, then red, then back to orange. I'm also going to go over this with an orange too. When we get to this corner here, we want there to be a little bit of a shadow as it comes around the corner. So I'm going to go back in with my red. And I'm just going to do the red a little bit more concentrated. Near that joint there. Great. And then we're going to go to the front and we're going to add slightly more orange onto this side. So your perfect cube is made up with a lot of layers. This is how anyone would approach this task, no matter how their ability. Just because we're asking you to do layers isn't because you're relatively new to art and it's a foolproof way to make no mistakes. Yes, it is a lot easier to gradually build the tone, but it also gives the best results. That's why we're asking you to do it. And I'm going to fade it a little bit bigger on the top. I'm going to bring a little bit more of this red into this corner here, only lightly. So in this area. Like that. I'm going to outline the bottom of it a little bit more with the red. And on this top here, I'm just going to get that red a little bit more intense as well. And then I'm going to go back over with orange. I want this front side to be more orange than red. Like so. The final thing that we're going to do is, because the light is hitting it here, we're going to bring some orange very lightly onto the top. And we're going to fade it out. Okay, I'm going to go back over the top now with the yellow, fading it out. We're also going to go on the side with the yellow. This is going to make your cube become a lot more vibrant. I'm going to go back in with the first colour at the end and really brighten them up, making the shape a lot bolder. You can do it on that side too. So it might look like you're not doing anything, but it does make a difference in the long run. And that's the cube. I'll give you a little zoomed in look.